Greetings, fellow travelers. Welcome on in. This is the RPG Cave, level 164. I'm one of your hosts, the level 199 Human Dark Lord, Ryan Turford, and I am joined, as always, by the level 199 Elf Battle Alchemist, Dr. Garret. How's it going, Garret?
I'm doing good, dude. It's 164. We're getting there.
164, you're right. I mean, we're like, less than halfway to 200 at this point. We're
35 more episodes. We'll be equal. The monsters and I in our party will be equal.
We'll have to be have to start thinking about leveling up at that point, Garret.
Do we what do we do at that point? Do we say 299? That sounds excessive. That sounds
it does.
Like a Korean.
Are you trying
MMO.
to say we need to do like a level squish?
I feel like we need to do like a prestige of some kind. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's either that or we can do what Destiny did, where instead of levels at one point, they're just like your item level is your character's level now.
The light or whatever it's called.
Your light level is
light level. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
We could do something like that.
We'll see.
Diablo kind of does that too when you hit.
Diablo just hits a cap and then now your equipment does.
You kind of get Paragon levels though in Diablo.
Mm-hmm. And Division, it's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
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 It's been a while since I played that one.
Yeah.
But.
Also, shout out to Seth Lachlan and Sean, who are hosting an RPG Cave watch party in the Discord.
I love it. I just want to know that Sean, Seth, I was actually just finishing up a level of Neon White on my Steam Deck, so we're ready.
You gotta save it for later, Garret. We got a question about Neon White later in the show, apparently.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. We'll go full Neon White on that one.
Just put a pin in it as long as it's put a pin in it. Because this is the RPG Cave where we talk about RPGs all the time, except for when we're talking about Neon White or the weather or Thanksgiving or whatever we talk about on this show. So if you, of course, like what we do and you want to support the show, there's a number of amazing ways you can do that. Number one, if you're watching the live stream right meow over at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or if you're watching the video on demand later, or over on twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live, you have an important job to do. Just hit that follow button or that subscribe button, depending on which platform you are on. It's free and it helps the show go a long way. It really helps support us and what we do. Also, let us know in the comments below what some of your favorite RPGs of the year are. We would love to hear from you. If you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well, or rate us if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And again, we just got our Spotify wrapped, Garret. And let me tell you what, it was pretty cool to see all the new RPGK fans on Spotify this year. So shout out to Spotify Wrapped, because I think that's actually a really cool thing that they do over there. Because, we've got Wrapped everything at this point, Garret. It's that time of year. Xbox Wrapped, Spotify Wrapped,
and
we'll have the PlayStation Wrapped later this week.
I thought I already did it. Oh, I guess
no. There's the True Trophies one, but the one officially from PlayStation.
Oh, I see.
I have a broken True Trophies account, Garret, that I can't log into, so I have to wait for the PlayStation one as an example.
Well, why is yours broken?
It doesn't let me log in at all.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and it makes me sad because it's like, sign in with your username and password, and my password's incorrect. It's not any of my normal passwords.
So it's True Trophies, not PSN Profiles or something?
True Trophies, yeah. PSN Profiles doesn't have one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I can't log into my account on True Trophies, so I will wait till the PlayStation puts theirs out this week. But then there's also a Steam one that'll come soon, too.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Exactly. I know Fulia mentioned that, too. She was all excited for the Steam things. But,
I hope there would be like one random programmer out there is like, I'm gonna make a GUI like a program to like merge everything together, like wrap the Xbox and the Nintendo Switch and if Nintendo did it, that would be nice, but I don't think they've done it. Right?
No, they've never done something like that.
Okay.
They just let you look at your playtimes for your games, but they've never done, to my knowledge, something like that. But I'm sure the comments will correct us if we're wrong, Garret. Also, Yon32 points out, speaking of GUIs, you mentioned GUIs, Garret.
Oh, the GUIs, yes.
Yes, Yon32 just came back from watching the GUIs on YouTube. Of course, we've got our Game of the Year show, or Game of Our Year, according to Sean Capri, the GUIs. That's up on the YouTube channel if y'all are interested in checking that out. For audio feeds, that'll be out the week of Christmas. So if you want to check that out.
Merry Christmas, guys.
That's our Christmas gift to y'all. It's only a 6.5 hour podcast. It's fine.
That's insane.
No, but I think it's always important, Garret, and I've talked about this a lot, where it's like, I know a lot of people are alone on Christmas and they just don't have like a family or friends to spend the holiday with, and it can get kind of lonely. So we wanted to make sure that we have it's important for us to have like a piece of content, so that it's almost like you're spending the day with friends on Christmas if you listen to one of our podcasts.
It sounds good. No, I like that. I like the content creators who do that too. There's some content creators I know.
Yeah.
That let's just not like kind of accumulate a lot of videos before the winter break, and then we'll just release everything. Like Giant Bomb, they do their I don't know 3 or 4 day game of the. Well, they used to do it. I don't know if they do it anymore. So, but yeah, I really enjoy that. Actually, back in I would say I don't know, say like 2015, 2016, it was kind of like that for me. It's like, I'm home. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Let me just watch YouTube comment while I play Diablo 3.
Yeah.
On
I've been in that
4.
situation before too, where I was working on Christmas Day and it was very slow because it was Christmas Day in the office. So of course there's nothing going on or anything like that. So yeah, I would just sit there and watch podcasts and videos and stuff like that to kind of keep me company. So yeah, I totally understand that as well. But
as we speak, I just accepted friend requests from Sean Capri, $2 Hero, and Locklith. So yeah, so there's actually many extra friends that I have that has played Neon White that are pretty good too. So I'm gonna. Oh man, I don't know if the Steam Deck will have any sort of advantage over the keyboard and mouse. I know the keyboard and mouse is superior, of course, with the mouse movement or whatever. But I believe in the Steam Deck. I really do. It has this
even the power of the
trackpad,
Steam Deck.
4 back buttons. We'll figure it out.
Sean asked the important question: will Ryan play Neon White? Well, you know what, Sean? Because you asked, I'm going to actually bring in, because we had a question about this from the Locklith, who asked in the Discord, when will the Ryan Turford and the Dr. Garrett Bland join us for Neon White? Garrett, you've already joined them for Neon White.
We'll see how long that lasts. I don't know.
I am never joining for Neon White. I've played that game before. I wasn't into it, and I don't plan on playing it anytime soon. Okay. So,
that's a good answer.
I'm happy that y'all like that game. That's all I'm going to say. I'm happy y'all.
I'm just chasing the high. I'm chasing the hype right now. I want to see if I can get in that wave. So,
100%.
And it plays really well on Steam Deck. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a card game.
As it is, I don't play games on PC. So.
Nah,
but yeah. Anyways, continuing with housekeeping, Garrett, because we're like halfway through it. Of course, over on patreon.com/carpool gaming, we've got brand new content this week. Of course, Fulia's episode of Pants is out right meow. You can go check it out. She talks about actually her gaming goals next year, which are kind of influenced a little bit by Matt and Sean's, which is really interesting. In fact, I also announced on the GUIs, Garrett, that I will be buying games next year, or at least for the first 6 months of next year.
Okay.
So
you said there were 2 that you already got. What were the 2 again?
Tales of Grace's F Remastered.
Okay.
And the Lunar Collection.
Oh, okay. I mean, those 2 are like remasters collections. Like I
and
don't
they're
really
collections
count
of games I've already beaten.
Yeah, I know. Like those are kind of you're getting them really for the collection.
And I paid for them already in full earlier this year.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm not going to ask PlayStation for a refund because it's very annoying to do that. So I'm keeping them. And the other stipulation is if any Metroid game, whether it's Prime 2, 3, or 4, come out, I'm going to buy them.
Yeah, I don't see that coming out the first half of the year, but I understand.
I don't think so either, but I have to have that stipulation in there just in case, Garrett, because I don't know if I can sit there for 3 months waiting to play Metroid Prime 4, Garrett.
Metroid Prime 4 coming out March 2025.
You never know. It might. It just might, because I still think that it's possible that they do a Switch version of Metroid Prime 4 and then a Switch 2 version.
Yeah, Switch 2.
Switch 2
squeeze
upgrade
it out of you
6 months later or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pass the Nintendo to do that.
No, I could totally see Nintendo doing that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well.
And of course, Garrett, the last thing we need to promote, of course, is over on carpoolgaming.com, our website where you can get merch for all of our shows. A certain movement has returned, Garrett. Xenobabes is back.
Heck yeah.
Again. You can go buy a Xenobabes t-shirt. They are available for one last time till the end of the month, and then they will be going back to the Disney Vault.
Disney has a hold of our IP.
Yeah.
Wow. It's an eternal abyss in there.
So this is your last time, folks. If you want the Xenobabe t-shirt.
I like the light gray and the white for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now's the time to go get them if you want to go get these Xenobabe t-shirts. So don't miss out. This is your last chance to get them. And now, Garrett, without further ado, I believe you have 3 things for me.
I do have 3 things for you. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick here.
Okay.
3 things. I had to write it down.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to my break, Ryan. I have a break.
From work?
From work. Yeah. So we have a company break. And it looks like they do this every year. So from the weekend, the 21st, all the way through the 1st.
Dang, son. That's pretty nice.
It's pretty, yeah. It was a
I was going to say, like, the 21st is going to be our last, just so folks know, because I didn't mention this during housekeeping. The 21st will be our last RPG Cave of the year as well on that Saturday.
Yeah.
So, like, perfect timing with your break.
Perfect timing.
Basically, the first year of your break, final RPG Cave of the year, and then we'll be back in the new year.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to have to think and plan out the gaming journey throughout that time, see what I do. Of course, Mass Effect is in there. It's embedded in there somewhere.
Okay.
But
I sure hope so, because otherwise I won't be able to assign you any games. I don't know if you I just don't want you to discover the loophole that I can't assign you more games to play if you don't play any of them.
I kind of like you don't give me a deadline, so I just procrastinate to the very end, like the typical PhD student I am. So,
see, Seth knows because Seth. I don't know if you knew this, but Garrett's never played Mass Effect.
I never played Mass Effect at all, Seth.
It needs to happen.
I'm a disgrace to the RPG fans out there. I don't want to confess my other RPGs I have not played, but anyways, looking forward to my break. All right, number 2. I don't know if you know this, Ryan, but every week I look in is like Amazon Prime Gaming. Here are 30 games for you. Most of them in GOG, good old gaming. So now I have literally over 100 GOG games.
Jesus Christ, Garrett, that's a lot of.
Well, no joke. They just kept going after and after it, and I have Dredge on GOG. Because of Amazon Prime Gaming. I have Fallout. I have Greedfall. I have Shadow of Mordor. Like it's just the most random, and they're, pretty well-known games. So shout out to Prime Gaming.
Shout out to Prime Gaming. Also, before you move on, Garrett, to your third thing, this is kind of in line with this. Did you see on Humble Bundle today that Indiana Jones, the Ultimate Edition of Indiana Jones on PC was free?
Yeah, that was definitely a price error.
100% it was a price error.
And apparently it pulled through. Warriors 64 was able to have it on Steam. So
yeah, I saw a lot of people actually pick it up.
I wonder if they can easily revoke that, though. I think they can.
Maybe.
I think Steam, they definitely can, especially a digital license. Yeah. This is exactly why they want people in the digital, well, at the same time, the loophole was coming from a code giveaway, so
all right. Well, likewise, Garrett, if you go to your mom and pop store, you're not going to be able to walk up to the counter with like a misplaced sticker on a game that says it's free and then hand it to the person behind the counter and they're going to give it to you for free.
Yeah, that makes sense. It totally makes sense. But I really think give it a day or a couple days. Humble's like, yo, these are the codes that we accidentally let go. It seems like, okay, let's yank them out. And it would just be as easy as that. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. So shout out to Prime Gaming. And then third thing, I just want to mention a few side quests that are non-RPGs. I've been playing Balatro because the Game of the Year is coming up. I have to get in that cozy, addictive, kind of tone going on. And Ryan, you mentioned you played Balatro. I'm curious. What is your impression of it?
Garrett, I played it for 3 hours straight. And while I realized that game was not for me after those 3 hours, I can definitely see why people like that game a whole lot.
Oh, yeah. It's
because I knew from the second I picked up that controller and started playing Garrett that this would be a Garrett Bland game all the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It's just so addictive. You just go into it and then you're just like, what strategy do I go for this time around? And then you're just so in flux, and it's fast, it's quick, and then you figure out what's your tone, what's your gameplay, and then the game punishes you so hard with bosses and oh man, it's so good. And the music's fantastic. But
yeah, the music's really good. But
and then I've been playing the core because Game Pass decided to, hey, we're gonna let go of the core December 15th.
And it's not a long game. Like, it's a pretty quick game.
Not a long game at all. I'm on chapter 9. Like, I'm almost to the end of that game. So
you're pretty close.
It's pretty good. Pretty good game.
Yeah, that's a good game. Mm-hmm. I know people were kind of like mixed on that game, but I don't know. I like that game a lot.
I'm playing it like for what it is. It's like Until Dawn. It has that for sure, that format. It seems just like a different story than Until Dawn in my mind. I think I prefer the Until Dawn story just because of the story itself, but I'm having a good time with the Corey for sure.
Yeah, I do.
I like the actors in there as well.
Oh yeah, they've got some good actors in it as well. But yeah, I really like that game a lot. So I'm happy about that. Happy that you're enjoying it now, Garrett. I'm going to take you on a little side quest before we read from this.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I've decided during the first 6 months of next year, Garrett, I won't be buying new games other than Metroid games. So I started a checklist of things that I want to kind of do during this time because I wanted to start planning it out, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. Real quick.
Okay, some housekeeping.
Yeah. So here's what we got. So of course, first 3 tasks: finish the 3 wheel games that were picked for me. So Echoes of Wisdom, Resonance of Fate, and Silent Hill 4: The Room.
Good luck with Resonance of Fate, man. That's gonna be
now, Garrett. They're all are also substitute games if I'm not into it. Whether it's like it's Siphon Filter on PlayStation 1, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, or Trauma Center Second Opinion. I can pick one of those 3 games to replace it with.
Oh, okay.
If I choose to do so.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. First order of business after that, Garrett. Give Final Fantasy X a second chance. People say they like Final Fantasy X. I want to see why people like this game. I want to understand, Garrett. I want to understand why people like Final Fantasy X, Garrett. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you want to go through it again. Now, what platform are you gonna play it on?
PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's got all those modern features. I'm not going to go back and play it on PlayStation 2.
You should play it on the Vita, which is probably the best place to play it.
I could, but I don't know. I'm just not really doing the portable thing these days. So
understandable.
Seth, I'm not giving Neon White a second chance. I already gave it a second chance. I've given it 3 chances already, and it hasn't hooked me. Next one is give Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess a second chance.
Yeah. Interesting. So you didn't like it the first time around?
No, I got like halfway through it and stopped playing.
Okay.
I've also got play through another Zelda top-down game. The only ones I've ever finished are the very first one and Link to the Past. So I was thinking maybe.
Oh shoot! Seasons. I have to play Zelda too. Sorry for that side win.
You do?
Yeah, that's gonna be my holiday homework for sure. Yeah.
Play Mega Man X3. I've never played Mega Man X3, but I'm thinking about it. Ooh, I like Seth's idea with playing Minish Cap. I could play Minish Cap.
I heard Minish Cap is really good. Have you played Link to the Past?
Yeah, that was the one I played for the first time this year.
Oh, okay. Link Between Worlds?
Never played it.
Well, that's hard to get one, but I like that one.
I have Link Between Worlds on here. I have the cartridge for it. But
yeah, the cartridge. Okay,
I haven't played it. Yeah. Next one. Give Xenoblade Chronicles 2 a second chance, Garrett. I'm gonna try.
I don't know. So how do you like Xenoblade Chronicles 1? That's my question to you.
I thought it was boring.
Okay, I don't know if you're gonna like 2 at all.
But I have it on my shelf, so I feel like everyone else is giving it a second chance next year. I'll give it a second chance next year. Well, and if I don't like it, I have to keep playing.
Can you play 3 though? That's if you're saying 2 is so boring.
I got bored with 3. I tried playing multiple times.
You're just a lost cause. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Try 2 and see how it goes.
Sean's asking what the other column is. It's just a checkbox for when I've completed the task. Give Star Wars Outlaws a second chance. People like that game.
Well, I hear it's updated with some stuff. So
they removed the stealth instant fails. So
yeah, that's what I heard. I'm curious about this game because every time I hear about it, it's like the gameplay is not that great. But the Star Wars lore in the Star Wars, the world itself is so good.
Yeah.
That it overcomes the gameplay. I'm just like, oh, that intrigues me because I like a good world building game.
Yeah.
So
I know people like that game a lot too, so I want to give it a second chance. It was just like when it came out, I was just not in the mood for that kind of game. Same situation with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which at the GUIs, Garrett, was our most popular community suggestion. So I added it specifically to this checklist for the community, because the community wanted us to play it. Next one is used to love playing real-time strategy campaigns, Garrett, but I haven't played through one in a very long time. So I made it a task for next year to play through a real-time strategy campaign, like a new one of a modern real-time strategy game, whether that's Stormgate or Age of Mythology or something else. I'm thinking maybe Age of Mythology Retold. Haven't really decided on that one yet.
Oh man, I want to try that one out too.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played an RTS campaign as well. You're onto something, Ryan. I like that.
Thank you. Next is explore the N64 library. I've got the analog 3D coming, and I want to set aside some time to play a bunch of N64 games that I didn't really grow up with. So that's on there. Play Master Detective Archive Raincode. I love Danganronpa, but never played this one. Like I've had it sitting on my shelf since it came out, and I've never played it.
Do you have it on Switch? Is it only on Switch?
It's on everything now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Play Shining Force CD. Finally.
I've
been wanting to play that forever. It's on the list. And play Eternal Darkness Sania's Requiem so Rybo can stop bugging me.
Got it.
That's why that's there, is so Rybo just stops. He stops telling me, when are you playing Eternal Darkness? He just stops. And the last one is just replay Lunar and Lunar 2 from the Lunar collection.
Okay.
And I'm still working on it. There's still slots for more things.
There's so many things.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like all of 2025 or the first 6 months?
This is the first 6 months, like tasks I want to do. And again, when I say giving a game a second chance or play a game, it doesn't necessarily mean I have to finish it, but I have to at least make a like serious attempt at trying to get through some of these games.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Well, good luck with most of these.
Thank you.
We'll see how. I'm curious. By the 6 month mark, let's see where that completion rate is.
Yeah.
Let's see what the responses are. I'm very curious about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about Final Fantasy X. Those are the two big ones. I'm just like,
I know people keep telling us that Final Fantasy X is great and it's their favorite one, and I want to understand why.
Because they're crazy.
And I'm not doing that with Final Fantasy VIII this time. I hear you, Awesome Dave, already typing a comment.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy X, I decided to do this with first. Also, I'm toying with the idea, because Sean mentioned this during the GUIs, but I'm toying with the idea of also trying to make a task to assign games to Royal Rumble contestants, and then playing whatever game is assigned to the wrestler that wins the Royal Rumble. Kind of like what Sean's
you're
doing.
Gamifying the task that was given to you of playing games.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Sean, because I know Sean's doing that this year. So I'm thinking about
this is some next level meta stuff. It's like we're entertaining ourselves of busy work that's about entertainment.
Well, if I wasn't going to do this, Garrett, I would just sit there and play Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 14 every day for those 6 months.
Like most people do.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be my life. That's what I'm doing right now, and I don't want to keep doing that.
I got it.
Yarden, of course, points out the important fact that StarCraft 64 is, in fact, an RTS. It is. But
it's certainly a game that runs on a 64.
I'm actually excited to play that on the analog 3D, Garrett, playing StarCraft 64.
Okay.
But that's long enough, Garrett, not talking about role-playing games. On this role-playing game show, we should probably read from the sacred texts because we are heading towards the end of 2024, Garrett. We can see it, the site.
It's crazy.
It's either our sites. The horizon's right over there. We've only got a couple episodes left of the show for this year. So we wanted to kind of wrap up all of the major role-playing games that came out this year, kind of give them like a letter grade, almost like a tier ranking, Garrett, of the RPGs that came out this year. Of course, I don't actually have a tier maker.
We shouldn't do a tier rank because we haven't played most of these. So
no. But you talked about the idea of us giving them letter grades, which is kind of what you do on a tier rank.
I was thinking overall impressions of the RPGs in the year with the letter grade.
Fair enough. I like that. Cool. I like that, Garrett. All right, so we'll go through these, and again, like you said, a lot of these we haven't played. So we're gonna start with the first RPG that came out this year. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth came out on January 26th. Open critic rating of a 90.
People like it, man.
People like it.
The Like a Dragon folks and the Yakuza fans, they're just, it is their game of the year. You hear Kevin Zainsworth's like, I can't believe, I spent 70 or 80 hours going through this game. I love it so much. So there you go. Infinite Wealth, game of the year for all the Yakuza fans out there.
Infinite possibilities for all those Yakuza fans.
And apparently they have Animal Crossing in there, and they have like 30 other mini games.
That's true.
Yeah. So
you do kind of go to a mystery island and do.
They're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I actually would love, like in my little, if I had a little task thing for 2025, I'm a little too optimistic with my list. So I feel like I would just fail from the start, but I would love to just restart Like a Dragon.
Okay.
Because I was 40 hours in. I have no clue what I'm doing in that game anymore. So I should just restart that one because I loved it. I just stopped because I was in a pit. You remember? I just couldn't advance to the next thing. So kind of stopped there. I remember
you telling me about that. Yeah.
And I want to play Infinite Wealth. I don't want to play all the Yakuza games. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna go into all the 8.
You're not going back and playing Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami and stuff like that.
After these 2 games, if I have any interest, Yakuza 0 and Kiwami, sure. Not 4, 5, and 6, the boring parts. But anyways, good for them. Nice. Good for the Yakuza fans.
Nice. Yeah, I know a lot of people like this one. We're just not really the audience for this game, unfortunately. But moving on, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, February 1st. Open critic rating 81. But this game, I don't know about you, Garrett. When it came out, the hype, there was so much hype coming into this game, and then it was out for 3 days, and like that completely fizzled, and no one cared about this game anymore.
Yeah, after a week, it was kind of done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of people that I just, from impressions I've heard, is like think of it as an MMO, but single player. Yeah. So it's very easy, like grindy type of RPG.
It's one of those ones where it's like you have like 15-minute boss fights because the bosses have so much health that you just have to whittle down. Like it's one of those types of games that I just don't love. Like I like action RPGs, but I've always talked about when action RPGs have like life spongy bosses that take forever to kill, simply because of the fact that they have a giant health bar. It makes me very sad. Like that's one of the things that, like, as much as I like Tales of Arise, that game is guilty of that a little bit.
Got it.
As much as I like that game.
I heard the Steam player count was pretty high on this one though.
It was
when it was at its peak. So good for them to finding some success with this.
Like I said, the Grand Blue the franchise is actually a very popular mobile franchise. Yeah. So it's no surprise that it was actually pretty popular out of the gate. But like I said, I think interest in this one just totally fell off a cliff after it came out and people got to play it. But next up, we had on the following day, February 2nd, Persona 3 Reload came out.
Heck
Open Critic 87. I think that's. I'm going to just come out and say it. I think that Open Critic's too low. I think this game's really good. Really, really good.
It's really good, but I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, what's the
Tartarus?
Dungeon? The Tartarus. Oh, that Tartarus.
Yeah,
it's so boring."
That is kind of what Kevin Ainsworth told me.
That's what everyone keeps saying. I'm just like, "Oh, please stop. It's just a dungeon crawling game." Like, but yeah, no, I'm with you, Ryan. I really enjoyed this game for what it is.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, love the characters. I love the fresh coat of paint, the voice acting. The characters in this game. I teared up at the end. I really did.
It honestly, like Persona 3, for those that haven't played it, to me, it honestly has like one of the saddest and most heartbreaking endings of any video game.
Yeah, it really broke me. And then I think the villains in this one, or the antagonists, were the most, I guess, like most real compared to the rest of the other Persona games. They had some ground like motivations for them.
You really get to know them more than like other Persona villains.
Yeah.
Because like like in Persona 5, like, yes, the kind of like the main antagonist is like the guy that kind of put you in prison, but like you don't really know much about him.
Yeah,
you don't
you
really
really
hear
don't.
how interact with him throughout the game. Whereas the villains in Persona 3, you get to interact with like throughout the entire game, so you really get to know their motivations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And of course,
good game.
Igus, gotta protect her.
Gotta protect Igus for sure.
Yeah. I still need to play episode Igus at some point.
Me
The
too.
Answer.
Yeah.
But next up, we got Banisher Ghost of New Eden. February 13th is when it came out. Open critic of 80. I know people like this one a lot. Kevin Ainsworth in particular, he was a huge fan of this one.
Yeah. But this one, like, if you didn't tell me that this came out this year, I wouldn't know. Very forgetful RPG. Unfortunate because, it's who made the game again? I forgot.
It was Dannohh.
Dannohh, that's it, yeah.
Life is Strange folks.
And then, it's kind of like their successor to Vampire. They want to get into that more cinematic third-person action role-playing game.
It looked really cool, but it just
cool.
really flew on the radar this year.
For sure. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because I wanted to play it, but it came out like while I was playing Persona 3, so it was just like there was no chance of me ever playing that. And then, of course, with Rebirth, which we're about to talk about, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
it just came right after.
February 29th. Like, it was basically sandwiched between those two games. But,
yeah, so it was hard.
Yeah. Rebirth, of course, open critic 93, the highest rating game on the list tonight. That we're
My goodness.
Yeah.
Minigames. Every person I heard that has played this game, it's their game of the year. Not every person, but most people.
I was going to say, I've played that game, and it's not my game of the year.
Yeah. Oh, it's close, though, right? It's like,
It didn't even make my top 3 at the GUIs.
It didn't make your top 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, every other person other than Ryan, I hear, is their game of the year, so. Yeah. Heard it's really good.
Nice. I mean, it's a cool game. But yeah,
cool
it's a too bloated. Like that, I talked about it on PlayStation Drive when we talked about it last night, but this is the type of game that entirely validates the reason why Kevin Ainsworth plays the games the way he does. Because Garrett, that Kevin just rushes through games generally and doesn't play a lot of the side stuff. Mm-hmm. This is one of those games that would have been infinitely better if I didn't do any of the side stuff, honestly.
Yeah. It seems like it from what I gathered about this game.
Next up, Garrett, a week and a bit later, Unicorn Overlord, May 8th or March 8th. Open critic of 88. So very, very, very
It's a good
high.
one. Good score.
It's a good game. I liked it a lot. I wish I would have finished it at some point, but I still never finished it. But I'm at the point, Garrett, where I feel like I'm so far removed from Unicorn Overlord that I have to probably start over if I'm going to play it again.
Yeah. I have the cartridge in my Switch. It's ready to go.
Nice.
It's like after all the other side stuff, after Metaphor, after Mass Effect,
after Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
Oh my god!
There we go. Then it's
I can't
Unicorn
freaking
Overlord.
wait till you play Zelda 2, Garrett. That's gonna be awesome.
I don't know if I'm able to finish it technically. I don't know. I'll have to. I'll read up. I'll look up guides and stuff.
You should just look up guides for playing.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those things where, like, I was watching a video the other day on GameSack's channel talking about games that are much better now than people will remember them being, and Zelda 2 is one of them, specifically for the reason that you can look up all the cryptic stuff with guides.
Good.
Like, it's a much better game because of it. So,
got it.
Yeah. Next up, Dragon's Dogma 2, March 22nd. Open critic 87. Of course, going into this year, that was probably your most anticipated game, Garrett.
Yeah. It was pretty high up on the list for sure. Other than Persona 3 Reload, Dragon's Dogma 2 was like, oh, that's the next RPG I'm gonna play. Yeah. That's the next game I'm gonna play and really get into it. And I kind of like have explained a lot of my reasons with Dragon's Dogma 2. I think it's a good game. It's a great game. But at the same time, it's a very punishing, and it's not meant to be story driven at all. It's not narrative driven at all. It's a playground of your character in an action setting in a fantasy setting. Like that's really what it is. And I should have understood that a little bit more before I got into it. So, but anyways, it's a good game if you're into it. I feel like people who are Monster Hunter fans who enjoy the grit and the combat of, let's say, the original one as well, they'll be into this one for sure. It's just that, I'm going to go in here and learn all these characters and these relationships and get into the story. It's like, you're not there for that. You're there for all the other stuff that's there. So, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, they did eventually fix the fast travel, so maybe it's worth playing at some point.
They fixed some stuff, but they also they have like an easy mode as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try it out, but like I'm not in the mood anytime soon. So we'll see.
Makes sense. All right, next up, you'll probably forgot that this game came out this year. Iodine Chronicles 100 Heroes came out this year, Garrett. April 23rd. Wow. Open critic of 75. One of the lowest rated games on this list.
Yeah, I heard mixed stuff with this one for sure.
Yeah,
I have it on my Xbox. It's ready to go because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it should be, it's like a spiritual successor to Suikoden, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I hear there's just a lot of negatives with this game as well. Yeah. I don't know if you heard that too.
I did. It's going to be interesting to compare this with the Suikoden collection that's coming out in March, Garrett. Because it'll be interesting to kind of go back to those games and then compare them to this game and then see like where kind of this one went wrong in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I heard it's just very long and very grindy for what it is.
That is what I've heard too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next up, Sandland, Garrett. You remember Sandland? It came out April 28th. Open critic of 74.
My fantasy critic pick. I'm glad it was just positive for 4 points. I kind of went into some reviews of Sandland. I was pretty curious about it. I'm surprised that it's that low because I hear, I wouldn't say like, like great reviews or whatever, but not downright negative.
Right.
On some.
I think it was just very, very like lukewarm. Like people, like there were just a lot of 7s for this game, and it was just like this game's good. It's good, not amazing, not terrible, good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested in it though, so like it ever goes on a good sale, I'll try it out. It's was it a Toriyama, right?
Akira Toriyama, the Dragon Ball.
Akira Toriyama, yeah, one of his. Actually, his last game to design, right?
Yep, it was.
Yeah, wow.
Because it was based off like one of his old manga series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool.
Yeah. Next up, of course, Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail came out on July 2nd. Open critic of 81. We talked about this a little bit on the GUIs. I really liked Dawn Trail, but it did have its problems. It wasn't perfect. It's definitely not as good as the other Final Fantasy XIV expansions, other than it's definitely better than Stormblood, but I don't think it's better than Heaven's Ward or, I don't know, actually. I think it's about the same. I feel about the same about it with Heaven's Ward in this one, but not as good nearly as Shadowbringers or Endwalker. So I do think it's really good. It's a good start to a new story, but it's not like, it didn't blow us away or anything like that. So I think 81's like a good score for this one.
Okay.
But
sounds good.
Next up, we had Visions of Mana coming out on August 29th. It had an open critic of 77. Almost like Sandland as well. It kind of had like similar kind of reviews where it was like a lot of 7s out of 10, where the people are just like, this game's good. It's not bad. It's not good. And it's not amazing. It's good.
Yeah. I played was it Trails of Mana?
Trials of Mana, yeah.
Yeah, Trials of Mana, sorry. Yeah, like a month before this. So I was kind of getting interested in it, but did you enjoy it, Ryan, for what you played?
I had fun with this one.
Yeah.
It wasn't over the moon of it. I think that like if I was scoring, it'd probably be like a 7.5, 8. So I'm actually probably in line with where the reviews are. Like I think it was a good entry in the series, but I also know that there are it also had some problems too. Like the story kind of sucks. Yeah. But I mean, the story kind of sucks in all the Mana games too. So I'm not.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah, but the action was just really fun to play. Like this game felt fun to get into combat and just have a blast playing as any of the characters.
I hear the director joined Square Enix, right?
He did. Yep.
Yeah. So
after they closed down the studio that made it.
After they closed
a week after the game came out.
Yep.
Yep. Which is crazy to think about because it was made by a different studio, that side studio. But next one, Garrett. Probably straight to your heart on this one. Starfield Shatter Space, September 30th. Open critic 61.
I told everyone I was going to go for this, and after looking at reviews, Ryan, I did not go for it. I was like, okay, this is not the entry point back for me into Starfield, which is disappointing because I did enjoyed what I played. I love Bethesda games to death. But hearing the reviews from I listened to a lot of reviews for this expansion as well as just overall in general about the state of Starfield itself. Shattered Space is not their breakthrough DLC for sure.
Yeah.
And I think everyone kind of see that now.
Yeah, it seems like it had like an interesting like first hour or so, and then after that it just totally falls apart from what
I hear there's just straight up problems with like character relationships in this DLC. There's some weird it just did not connect to the base game as well as people would think it would. So I'm definitely gonna hold off. I'm curious if they're gonna do. I know they have a roadmap for this game. Let's see what the next DLC pack is. I don't know about Starfield itself, but I would like to get back into it, not because of this DLC, but just to play the game in general. So
I'm 50-50 on giving Starfield a second chance on my that spreadsheet that
I totally understand that. Yeah.
I'm up there too because I stopped playing it as well for a myriad of reasons, mainly maps, but a bunch of other reasons, and I think a lot of that stuff's been fixed by now. So maybe it is time to at least try it again. But next up, Metaphor Refantasio, October 11th, Open Critic of 92. So second best rated RPG of the year. It's awesome. Yeah, go play it.
Deservedly so. It's a very good game so far. Yeah. I know there's a lot of I hear a lot of non-spoilery stuff. It's like, oh, there's a lot of good twists at the end. So I'm not there yet. So I'm just gonna keep on trucking along with Metaphor. Hopefully I'll finish it before the end of the year, maybe early next year.
Yeah. I'm excited for you and I to talk spoilers at some point for that game.
Yeah. Definitely in January sometime.
Yeah. It goes places, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But next up, we got Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. That came out on October 24th. Open critic rating 82 for this one.
This year, great.
By the way, Garrett, I didn't put it on the list, but Saga Emerald Beyond also came out that year, and I think it's an open critic of like 46.
So, that's so terrible.
so one Saga game definitely much better than the other one, even though we got two of them in the same year. But this one was made by the same folks that made the Trials of Mana remake, and you can definitely tell by playing it. But I really the demo. I really want to get a chance to play this one sometime soon.
Me too.
Next up, Ease 10 Nordics. I wanted to give at least Falcom one game on here. October 25th, Open Critic of 78. It's Ease, but it's in the ocean. That's kind of all I have to say about this one.
Oh, really? That's what the premise is?
That's what the Nordics stands for, Garrett.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're kind of in the ocean. You're sailing around to different islands and stuff like that. That's kind of
good for them.
That game.
Good for them.
Yeah. People like that game. Next up, Dragon Age the Veilguard. October 30th, open critic rating of an 80. Just a flat 80 for a Dragon Age is where it settled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
People were all over the place with this game.
Yeah,
You either hate this game or you really like this game. And not much between that.
That's what I hear. So, cool.
Next up, Mario and Luigi Brothership. November 7th, open critic rating of 77.
I'm surprised about that score because I hear nothing but great things with this game. So I think people just kind of fell flat at the end, I guess.
I think a lot of the reviewers just mentioned that they were bored playing it.
Okay. Sounds good.
So maybe it was just not for them. We'll see. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake came out on November 14th and got an open critic rating of 85.
That's a pretty good score.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I have it on Steam. On my Steam Deck right now, ready to go. After every other game I should play, so
this is one where I'm just like, I don't know when I'm gonna play this game.
At
this point, like even next year, I'm thinking about like where I'm even gonna pencil this game in for next year at this rate.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and last but not least, Garrett, the final game that just came out, I believe last week. Fantasian Neo Dimension came out December 5th. Open critic rating of an 82.
What a nice surprise to see this game coming to consoles. Seeing that physical edition everywhere. I see them posting on Blue Sky. Here's my Switch copy. Here's my PS4 copy. I'm curious. So it looks like, great reception of this game as well. Not surprising because it was kind of like a critical darling in the mobile space. I want to play this game, but when? Not anytime soon. So
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah, same here. This kind of falls into the same camp that Dragon Quest comes in, where it's like, I really want to play this game, but I don't know when the heck I actually get to this game
Yeah.
at some point.
So,
So overall, Garrett, I think, first of all, this list was really long, but I left off some stuff like Trails to Daybreak. I didn't throw on there, but I know people like that game. There's a lot of like smaller RPGs like Key Locker that we could have thrown on.
yeah,
here.
there's a lot in there. Yeah.
So there was a lot of RPGs this year in particular. Like this year, I think, I'm just going to come out and say it before we kind of go to our ranking for the year. But like, I feel like this year was a really good year for role-playing games. It is important to note also that at the time we're recording this, but it's coming out this week, Fairy Tail 2 is also supposed to be out this week. And that game, the last game scored like an 83 on OpenCritic. So there's potential for that one to be pretty good too. So, I mean, Gust actually makes pretty good games. So there might even be another one. But Garrett, if you had to give 2024, the year of our Lord, a ranking, what do we give this year?
It's pretty well rounded all around. And actually, we're having a kind of except for Dragon Age, the Veilguard, we have a dearth of Western role-playing games.
Yep.
This year.
A lot of Japanese role-playing games on this list. We didn't get a ton of Western ones.
For sure.
The Western ones that we got were like more indie style ones, or just add-on packs for games, like Starfield, as an example.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's very nice to see three Atlas games releasing this year. We got Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance.
Yeah, I didn't mention that one, but that also came out this year too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say a B+ for me. Just I think Atlas is really pushing it. It's carrying it for me this year because it's kind of rare to see Atlas. And of course, Unicorn Overlord as well with Vanillaware. Really,
because Atlas published, but they didn't develop it.
Yeah. So seeing all those games coming out this year is very rare. It's a very unique year for sure. So I would give it a B+. I don't see an earth-shattering game RPG for me though this year. Like maybe Metaphor once I finish it up. But other than that, that's where I kind of land. With this year is a B+, because I think it's a lot of great JRPGs, mixed but overall okay or good Western role-playing games, but I think that's it.
I think we would consider anything in the 80s on OpenCritic a great game.
A great game, yeah.
Just to use the IGN scale for reference. 8 usually means great.
Yeah.
They kind of rhyme, you see? But here's the thing, Garrett. I agree with that stance where if you're not into JRPGs, you probably wouldn't have had a good time this year in the role-playing game department.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had stuff like the Horizon remaster come out and things like that. Stalker 2.
That's true.
There was some stuff, but at the same time, I think if you're into JRPGs, this might have been one of the best years in a long time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like me, I love JRPGs. Like I prefer them to Western RPGs. So for me, this year was a slam dunk. Like this year was, I was playing RPGs all year this year. And there were some really, really good ones that I played. There were some obviously that I've fallen off with. And there's so many good ones, Garrett, that I'm still like with Romancing Saga and Dragon Quest and even Mario and Luigi I still want to play too at some point. It's just like
me too.
And Fantasian, like when do I even play these games? Like there's so many. It's like where I'm like, and I've got this year was so good, and I've got these many still left. Like that's kind of the feeling that I have coming out of this year. So you're right. From a critical stance, I would probably agree with you that B+. If you want to criticize it for lack of Western role playing games, I get that. But honestly, for like the Ryan Turford scale, like this is like a solid A or an A- year from me.
Okay.
Like this is honestly again like one of the best JRPG years we've had this generation, I think. Because last year was really good too. Like we had Octopath Traveler 2 and a bunch of other games last year, but this year in particular, I really, really felt was very strong with a lot of great role-playing games.
Oh, for sure. We got the heavy hitter. We got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but we also have these Atlas games.
Yeah.
And then of course Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D kind of and then Fantasian as well, which is a very nice surprise to see this year. Overall very good, very fantastic year for JRPGs.
Yeah. Also, we didn't mention it, but Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is also a Western game.
Yeah. So Banishers and then Dragon Age, both at 80s, which is a great game. But again, there was not like, oh, this is the earth-shattering Western role-playing game.
Yeah, we didn't get like the cyberpunk of this year.
The cyberpunk, the Baldur's Gate 3s, or the... Diablo 4 was kind of not earth-shattering, but, you kind of get the point, though.
Well, we had the expansion for Diablo 4 this year, which was also good.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And I also didn't mention here the World of Warcraft expansion this year, which also was good, too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Too many RPGs. Yes. That's the conclusion.
That's the takeaway, Garrett. Too many role-playing games. But
love it.
Anyways, let's hear from the NPCs, the non-podcast characters. We've got a couple questions in relation to this topic, and then one that's kind of off the board here. So Savoy Prime says, "Hello, cave!" exclamation point. How awesome is it that the best genre RPGs has been really getting its just due these past few years? I'd love to see it. On to my questions, though. Are there any RPGs that surprised you with how good they were this year, and what ones left you disappointed? Have a great episode, fellas. So I think looking at this list, or just thinking about the games that came out this year, Garrett, like the game that really surprised me, and I mentioned it earlier, is Romancing Saga 2. Like, yeah, especially we talked about it before many times on this podcast, Garrett. Like these Saga games just keep coming out like there's no tomorrow, and none of them are any good except for this one, which is just a remake of a really good Super Nintendo game. But it's just cool to see like Saga finally getting kind of a win this year, which is pretty cool. I almost forgot, Garrett, to put on this list. Path of Exile 2. Neither of us have played
early access.
That's an early access that just came out, but people are loving that game too. So
yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah. So. All I know is that when I looked at the skill tree for that game, I'm just like, I don't know if I ever play this game because it hurts my brain to look at the skill tree.
That's what I hear as well. So, cool.
And then disappointed. Maybe Dawn Trail a little bit. I don't know if there any really disappointed me this year, I think. But what do you think about these questions, Garrett?
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with you. Actually, what did I play in the beginning that was on the list? Yeah, I played Lunar, right?
You did play Lunar this year.
Yeah,
it didn't come out this year.
Well, I know it didn't come out this year, but that really surprised me how good it was.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
It's a very good. It's a funny game.
It is,
especially the translation of it.
Oh my god, the translation!
It's so hilarious. So I'm surprised how good that one is. But I agree with you. Romancing Saga 2, having that high score is just like, okay, we got to pay attention to this random franchise.
Yeah. Saga's back, baby.
Apparently. I'm curious what they're gonna do next. Are they gonna keep just moving?
Please, there's probably gonna be like 3 more Saga games out next year, Garrett.
I hope not. I just they shouldn't do new ones because the critical reception was pretty terrible for Emerald. But I'm curious how much more they can do with a remake or whatever. So
yeah, Romancing Saga 3 is sitting right there. I think they'll probably do a remake of it at some point.
Okay.
Because it's also a very good game. Like, because that's one I've actually played through on Super Nintendo, or I played it on Xbox One because it's on Xbox One. But that's where I played Romancing Saga 3, and it's actually a pretty fun game.
Okay, sounds good. And then what left me disappointed was definitely Dragon's Dogma 2, but really, if people are interested in that game in general, just go listen to reviews. Because I think I came in it at a very different angle, and I'm sure many other reviewers took it at the right way or took it for what it is. So people really search out there for Dragon's Dogma 2 because it is a great game. in a sense of mechanics and action and monsters and exploration and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I have to say.
Nice. And then Skycatcher asks, which RPG was the most new or innovative this year? You may propound as a whole or specific area, but specifically possibly cover gameplay or UI. So I have a couple answers for this one because I've thought about this a little bit. I would say that probably the most unique RPG that I think came out this year was Unicorn Overlord. It was it's a strategy role-playing game, but it's very, very different from other strategy role-playing games. It's almost like a mix of the Deofold Chronicles and Fire Emblem in all the right ways.
Is so weird.
Yeah.
To hear. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it's such a weird combination of things. But that game works so well, and it was just so different from everything else that came out this year, I think. Or at least that's just what I feel about it. The kind of the runner-up for me is Metaphor, because of the way it changes the turn-based formula by adding that action, element to it, where when you're grinding for enemies, you're grinding through them very quickly, and I felt like that changed the pace of the game in such a positive way that it just made the experience feel just so much more interesting and much more fast-paced than something like Persona, where instead of spending hours grinding through mementos, you might spend half an hour like running through an area, like mowing down easy to kill enemies.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think, Garrett?
Well, I kind of agree with you. Unicorn Overlord is such a different game. I did play the demo like for a couple hours. I'm like, this is totally not something I have played and it's very unique and it's very interesting. I would love to play more of it for sure. I think the other one that not innovative in terms of gameplay or whatever, but in terms of just UI and design, it's definitely Persona 3 Reload. Okay. The menu system and the vibe I get from that with all the characters just submerging in the water.
Oh, that looks so cool.
And the music just blends so well. The UI blends so well. It's not as like flashy and punchy as Persona 5, but it has that melancholy. Just here it is. Here's Persona 3, and I'm just like, this is a type of UI I love to get into. So I really applaud them to making Persona 3 Reload, having its own, like they just really building off of the identity of that game. It's so good. Yeah. I think that's the only one I would have to comment on the rest. So there you go.
Nice. And then final question of the show has nothing to do with tonight's topic. It comes to us from Ryu, who says, if you could forget and experience an RPG again for the very first time, which RPG would it be? This was a great year for RPGs. Hopefully next year will be just as good. This is an interesting one. I'm like, what RPG would I want to forget and then play through again, not knowing anything about it? Like, this is such a tough one. I don't know, because like I'm worried about picking an older game, Garrett, because I might not like it as much if I played it for the first time this year. But sorry, go ahead and see what you say. I think you had an answer for me.
Yeah, so I definitely won't play through Xenoblade Chronicles 3 ever again, just because the first time I experienced that game was so heartbreaking, and just kind of experiencing that story for the first time. I don't think I can ever replicate that feeling ever again of just sheer emotion, in the story and the characters in that game. It's very heartbreaking, like very comparable to Persona 3 Reload. It's a heartbreaking game. So I based on story, that's what I would choose. The other game I would choose, and I think this is more of a technicality than anything, is Persona 4 Golden. Just because I did not get the good ending. I got the bad ending of that game, and actually, I think I kind of like, quote unquote, lost the game in that story. Like I did not advance so much at the end of that game. So I would like to just go back and play through it for the first time and just be more informed how to go through it. Like just, those safety gates. Just make sure you're passing those certain check marks, and so you can go to the end. So those are the two I would try as Persona 4 Golden, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay. Yarden actually chimes in with the answer Final Fantasy VI. That's a really good one.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I love Yarden's comment here. Who would have thought that someday Sega would be an RPG powerhouse? I mean, they had good RPGs on the Genesis, like with Phantasy Star and Shining Force. Just, you're right, like not to the degree that they kind of have now. But as for me, I thought about it a little bit, and honestly, my answer is just all versions of Persona 3. If I can wipe all versions of Persona 3 from my brain, so then I can play Persona 3 Reload and that be my first experience with the game, like I would do that in a heartbeat. Like that would be really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially because you have to remember, I played through that game, like played through the original version, and then played through the FES version, and then played through the portable version, and then played through the modern one. But just playing through the modern one, the one that has all the bells and whistles from it from the beginning, I feel like probably would just even heighten that experience for me in a different way.
Cool.
There we go.
Good.
So that, of course, has been tonight's episode of the RPG Cave. But before we go, of course, we got to say thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on the PlayStation Drive and the Xbox Drive. You can find all of his music over at his Linktree, linktr.ee/PME.JIB. And in fact, I know Jonathan Brown, YB, may have been a special guest on the GUIs this year. But he also has a new album coming out pretty soon too. So y'all should check it out on your music channel of choice.
Yeah.
Cwagmire, who humbly reminds you that the best babes are in fact Xenobabes, and TechMike, who says whether you're Kevesi or Agnian, you're a Xenobabe at heart.
Yes, you are.
Links to all of our ultimate producers can always be found in the description of our podcast. Our platinum producers, Smokin Joe, Solo, the Captain, and Tim Paullin. Sorry, I was just reading the below Solo's name, and my brain interpreted it wrong. And our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, John 32, Likerwoods 330, OldMrFrump, Patrice Mallette, Peje, Shane Erickson, TheDonRob, and the Jiggy Collector. Huge thank you once again to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to head over there, hop in the car with us, choose the tier that's right for you. And Garrett, plugs go.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Blaine Explosion. You can also find me on the Discords, the RPG Caves, the other channels as well on the Carpool Gaming Discord. I read every single message on the RPG Cave. I'm not kidding. I do.
Even Ron's like 8 articles that he posts in a row?
Yes. I don't read the articles. I just see that Ron just puts down these random articles, and that's okay because I put a random YouTube video about the next 34 RPGs that are coming out in 2025. So
that's a lot of RPGs.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. But it's getting me hyped. 2025, I think is going to be a good year as well for RPGs. I smell it. Like there's so many good ones coming out, especially in February. But
maybe not from Atlas, but from other developers this time.
Definitely from other developers this time around. I'm pretty excited. So there you go. That's it.
We'll be talking about that in the new year because we always do like our annual preview episode. In fact, maybe we'll talk about some of those next week because we've got a little tease for the NPCs out there. Next week's episode will be about the Game Awards and what RPGs got announced there. So maybe we'll talk about the future of role-playing games next week. As for me, you always find me on the Discord at Ryan Turford. I'm going to stop promoting my Twitter, Garrett, because there's nothing wrong with Twitter. I haven't posted there since November, and I don't know if I'm ever going back. And I'm not on Blue Sky either. So
I think we're done. I think we've lifted off. We ascended from the Twitter platform now.
Yeah, I'm basically just on the Discord and no other social media essentially at this point. So
that's nice.
Find me on the Discord at Ryan Turford. Also find us, Carpool Gaming, over on Blue Sky at Carpool Gaming. Right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming live, and podcast services around the globe. So for Garrett Bland, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 164 of the RPG Cave, and we're out. Good night, everybody.